3 minutes.
Mr. Chairman, thank you very much. My name is Charlie Garza, and I represent myself. I want to bring to your attention, I got testimony here that I didn't mark down, a letter from Michael Williams, which is part of a law that you passed, which is referred to House Bill 743. And House Bill 743 says the STAR test will be reduced by March of last year to whereby 85% meet the requirements. I called the agency, Mike Morath's office. Normally when I call, by virtue of being a former member, I get a call back. Didn't hear anything from him. And I was told by the agency they would not comply with state law. They did not, either in the March examination or the fall. So what I see is a person who circumvents the law. Number two, also a letter was submitted in terms of that particular law and how it applied, and the agency took 94 days to respond to a public information request. I've got that documentation here as well.
That in the packet?
No, I will send to you shortly.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Then you need. Yeah. Please make sure that. And I'm sorry to take some of your time, but as you're referencing materials, you'll need to make sure that that's part of the written. It only said oral, but make sure that the. Yeah,
my mistake, Senator.
My mistake. So we'll give you a little bit of grace here as the clock goes. So go ahead.
My mistake. In addition, as you know, Senate Bill 9 says that every person in education must have a background check. To Mr. Crable, there appears to be none. Please, I implore you, look at his background. There appears to be arrest records as well. If, as an educator, I were arrested, I'd be in trouble. And that asks the question, how is he, with a person without a degree, allowed to earn $180,000 in Texas, more than Robert Scott earned when he was commissioner not 5 years ago? It doesn't make sense. How can an appointee, i.e. Mike Morath, appoint 5 new people at a cost of about $170,000 apiece plus benefits, or cost the taxpayers over $1 million without any kind of financial oversight? It doesn't make sense. You also made point earlier, Senator, about the 8.5 issue and how that applies. As you know, the DOE came down on the 8.5 and said, what are you doing? I know for a fact, because in the archive somewhere, people still list me as a member of the State Board of Education, and I get calls all the time, what's going on, how do you fix this, how do you fix this, because somewhere in the archives it exists. First question, in terms of charter schools, his claim to fame was he's pro-school, pro-charter. They approved 4 last year. Whereas when I was on the board on school initiatives, we put about 10, 12 charters per year. Number 2, there was a group that came to me of veterans, disabled, both principals, and TEA adopted a national standard, accepting the national standard for approving charter schools with no kind of input whatsoever, except one point. The point they did not accept was the fact that there would be waivers or at least exceptions to the rule or some kind of appeal system. So these veterans tried to appeal. They were told no, that there was no appeal. I'd like to think, Senator, that a military person is the gold standard, those that served. I like to think that those who served, as I and you did, okay, who served and are disabled, are considered with at least a bronze medal in the process. Yet they were told that military disabled veterans have no standing whatsoever. And that angers me beyond belief. And for the commissioner to sit here and say that Crable is in the top 5 people he's ever met, I am right now flustered, I am angered, and I can't begin to tell you how bad this situation is. And I would reserve the right to speak to you later in your office about this, because this is, to me, is beyond reproach. I've never felt this anger that I can recall in quite some time. And when you, with intent, choose to maliciously state things that aren't true. How do you address special ed issues, which, as you know, twice they mishandled special ed testing for STAR testing. 12,000 special needs children were affected by the information of the agency, and the response from the commissioner, it was a glitch. I'm sorry, with all due respect, 12,000 people is a catastrophe. And for you to say it's a glitch is an insult to parents like myself who have a special needs child.
Thank you, Mr. Garza. I appreciate it. If you would make sure that the clerk has the documents that you wish to provide as written testimony.
Thank you for your time, sir.
Sure. Thank you.